Hello students, how are you all? Hope all of you are well. In the previous video of class 6 science chapter number 4 sorting material into groups, we have studied about the properties of material like soluble or insoluble, means which substance can be mixed into the solvent or which substance can't be mixed into the solvent, means miscible, immiscible or soluble or insoluble. That all the properties we have studied in the previous video. In this video, first of all we are going to discuss activity 5. If all of you are having NCERT textbook, then we will go through that, and after that we will discuss about that which objects can float or which object can sink into the water, and after that finally we will study about the transparency, means which objects are opaque, which do not allow the light to pass through it, which are transparent, which allow the light to pass through it, and which allow light partially to pass through it, translucent. So these are all the things today we are going to discuss in this video. First of all, let's start activity 5. If all of you are having NCERT textbook, then please open page number 30. In the page number 30, activity 5 is there. Collect sample of vinegar, lemon juice, mustard oil or coconut oil, kerosene or any other liquid. Take a glass tumbler, fill it up to half with water, add a few spoonfuls of one liquid in this, stir it well, let us stand for 5 minutes, observe whether the liquid mixes with water, repeat the same with the liquids as many different liquids are available, write your observation. Now question is what? In this activity, we have to take 5 glass of water, and that glass should be of means transparent glass we should take, and we have to take any 5 different liquids like vinegar is there, lemon juice is there, other liquids we are going to take, and we have to fill half glass water all in that 5 glass. After then we have to take all these different liquids, we have to put inside that glass, and after then we have to take 1 spoon and we have to stir it. After 5 to 10 minutes we have to observe that which substance are soluble and which substance are not soluble. Means as you can see that vinegar is mixed into the water or not. So as it is soluble in water, means that object or that material is soluble, and lemon juice is soluble. If we are taking a wood dust, it's not soluble. If we are taking a chalk powder, it's soluble or not. After doing all this activity, you will get the information about the materials are soluble or not. Now we are going to move objects which may float or sink into the water. First of all, as we have done the activity 4, in that we have noticed that insoluble solids separate out from the water. Now question is what? In this topic, properties of material topic, objects may float or sink into the water. As for example, just suppose in the village there are no RO or filter of water. So what do? They do distillations method. As for example, if something insoluble materials are there in the water, what happens? They take that water, they leave that water for half an hour or 15 minutes. Now you will see all the insoluble materials which are sink inside it. So they all will be settled down at the bottom of that utensils like vessel, glass, buckets, anywhere they will be settled down. Now the upper part, which is purely complete insoluble part, now they will filter that part, and this method is called filtration, and the methods which are settling down called distillation. So as after all the insoluble materials have been settled down, now after filtering you can drink that water. In the olden days the people were doing the same thing. You might have seen that when especially workers work in the field, agriculture, so you will see as in the month of rainy season, when these farmers are especially roping the grains like paddy grains, so that time you will see as they will look here and there, because in this whole means every time when there is a whole sunshine, that time they do not look here and there, they just clean the water from that field only, and they take that water and then they drink. That is also a scientific method called distillation. Why distillation? Because in the distillation method we have just understand that how do this insoluble parts of this just like as for example any sand is there, any other materials are there. So that time what happens when we keep this insoluble part in the water, so they do not dissolve in the water. So after some time they settle down in the water. As they settle down, now the upper part is pure. We will take out and we can drink that water. Got it? So this was especially the objects which can be settled down. And now the objects which can't be settled down, we can separate them through the filtration method. As for example, just suppose when your mama is preparing tea, especially when your dad take a tea. So what she do? As she put in the utensils, she put milk, she put water, she put tea leaf, she put sugar, and she put ginger, and after 5 to 10 minutes or 15 minutes after boiling, she do filtration process. Why do she do filtration process? Because all these tea leaf or ginger part should not go inside that water. So what happened? The upper part which is filtered, as for example, just suppose this is, suppose here, this is a filter. This is your filter, okay? As you give liquid here, and now as we are having a cup, right? In this cup we will see that only the liquid part is passing down, right? And the solid material are still staying here. So the liquid part which has passed down, that is called filtered. What is called? Filtered. And the part which are staying upper part of this filter, so that is called residue. What is called? Residue. So as you have seen, residue and this filter, and this process is called filtration. What is called? Filtration. So what we have seen, how to filter the impurities or the parts which we do not like by the method called filtration. The process in the glass, as I have told you, the parts which are specially not dissolved. So what happens? You will see in this glass the particles which are being settled down. As for example, here you will see till here it was water. So this water and now these are the settle down, and now you can separate this water. This process is called distillation. What is called? Distillation. So we have understand about the distillation. We have understand about the filtration. Now the sinking material or floating material. As for example, you just suppose if you put a paper boat on a river or a pond, you will see it's not going inside, it's floating on the water. But if you take a needle and if you put in the water, it will go down, it will sink in the water. So the materials which float on the water and the materials which sink on the water. Let's read. So as I have told you, if you are putting different items in a glass of water, just take a transparent glass, okay? Just this is your transparent glass, okay? In this transparent glass, till here the water was filled, okay? Till here water is filled, H2. The chemical formula of water is H2O, okay? Till here the water is filled. Now, as you are taking small plastic balls, so you will, as giving this plastic ball, you will see these are floating on the water, and as they are giving the heavy materials like stapler pin, they are being sink in the water. Sink means going down and float means staying up. Got it? So here the materials which stay up on the water is called floating on the water, and the materials which go down called sinking in the water. So by this method also you can sort the materials, means the properties of material by which you can understand this material should be floating or sinking. So by this method also you can sort the materials. Now the next thing is transparency. Every time, especially when you visit to a shopkeeper, so especially sweet shop, so where you will see that you can say, yeah, I want this laddu, I want this rasgulla, I want this gulab jamun, yeah, different sweets you can just show him. Why? Because that material is transparent. The glass is transparent. From this material you can see the inside part also. Just suppose if there is a opaque means when there is light is not able to pass, it is blocked. As for example, just suppose in your room walls are there, right? In that walls you can't see the behind part, means that side part of the wall. You can just see the wall, but if I ask you what is behind the wall, you will not be able to see. Why? Because there is an opaque object. Means the objects has been specially divided into the three parts. What are the three parts? Opaque object, transparent object, and translucent object. What is opaque object? A material or an object which do not allow the light to pass through it is called opaque object. The material or an object which do not allow light to pass through it is called opaque object. As for example, wall, table, chair, which do not allow the light to pass. Thousands of examples are there. You must know the concept of opaque object. So as I have informed you, the concept of opaque object means the object material which do not allow the light to pass through it is called opaque object. You can give any example, whatever you like. Just as for example, if I have kept here one whiteboard and I am trying to pass the light, it will not possible. Because light will get reflection, it will not pass. So the object which do not allow the light to pass through it is called opaque object. Got it? Now second is transparent and translucent. Two main objects. Transparent, the object which allow light to pass through. The object which allow light to pass through it is called transparent object. As for example, glass you can see in the glass which is made up of that lead, so it will allow both the side to pass through it. So you will see as the light is being passed from one side to another part, because that object is transparent. Means the object which allow light to pass through it is called transparent object. As for example, glass. And the object which allow partially light to pass through. You know, in childhood, actually I was not having a good drawing concept. Still now also I don't know how to draw well. But if I want to draw something from the textbook as it is drawn, so what I was doing, I was just taking that paper and just rubbing on my head, because mama was putting oil on my hair. So after that I turn the paper, I put that paper on my head and I start rubbing it, so it becomes oily. And as I keep that paper on the textbook, so that things was little bit visible, and after then I draw with the pencil. I hope that you might be also doing this type of activity. Why I want to say these all the things? Because partially part means little bit part it is visible, and more part it's not visible. Question is the object or material which allow the light to pass partially through it. Partially means little bit, not fully. Okay, little bit, half or more than half, it allow the light to pass through. The object which allow the light to pass through it is called translucent object. As for example, butter paper, oil paper, right? So these are all the object or material which allow the light to pass through it partially is called, what it's called? It is called translucent object. So as we have seen, the object has been divided into the three parts. You can write the define of all these three: opaque object, transparent object and translucent object. And after then you can give example. What you have to do, you have to make a chart. In the chart you have to make three boxes. In one box you have to write opaque, another transparent and another translucent. Whatever you see that these objects can give transparency like opaque or transparent or translucent, so you have to write that object's name in the chart paper. So this can means you can do an activity also of the objects and types of objects or materials, which different types of materials like opaque, transparent and translucent. After that you can understand about the distillation, you can understand about the filtration, you can understand about the sinking or floating. So by these all the matter, in this chapter we have just studied about the properties of metals, sorting of materials, and after sorting of materials we have grouped into the materials, and after that we have just studied about that how to separate the materials. As different methods were there, as we have studied earlier also, and today also as we have discussed that how we can just check the hardness, we can check the physical state like solid, liquid or gaseous material. According to that also, according to uses also we can separate the materials, and after that according to the nature, according to uses, according to hardness, according to soluble or insoluble, according to objects may float or sink on the water, and according to transparency also we can sort the materials into the different groups. I hope from the first part, second part and the third part of this whole chapter, chapter number 4, sorting materials into the groups, I hope all of you have understand. If you are having any type of doubt, you can just go and check the second part and first part of this video. You will understand the concept. If you are still having a doubt, then please drop your doubt into the comment box section. I will definitely reply there, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope all of you are understanding about these videos. If you are still having a doubt, please drop your doubt into the comment box section. Thank you very much.